Jefferson County Code Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session. And calls number M333904. Case is filed in the state of Texas versus Jamel Earl Bernard or Bernard. Mr. Bernard, I'm doing fine. Your full name is Jamel Earl Bernard? Okay. Mr. Bernard, you are represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Todd LeBlanc. And again, Mr. Bernard, how are you doing?
So,
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. And Mr. LeBlanc, how are you doing?
I'm very good.
Mr. LeBlanc, I see here that in the memo it says set with felony. He has a felony case?
Yes, sir.
Does this case arrive out of the same criminal episode? Do we know?
Same time, yes, sir.
Like that?
There.
Because this was the August 1st, 2022 case. Apparently, he just recently got arrested in December
Sir.
on this case after it was filed. So he got arrested in December 2023. And then you were appointed February 2024,
Yes.
is that correct? At his arraignment.
It's the same. It came out the same.
Yeah, it was his
And the next
possession of a
item,
controlled substance. Okay.
will you have a future date of 6/10/2024? Where's the announcement?
June 10th of 2024. That's your felony court date. So we're gonna reset this case on the same date. June 10th, 2024. Coordinator is going to give your attorney a reset. Once you give your attorney a reset, he'll give you a reset. You'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Just have a seat.
Thank you.
Next case is cause number M328536. Case is South State of Texas versus Stephen Gilbert. Mr. Gilbert, would you please come forward with your attorney, Mr. Don Boudreaux? Is Mr. Gilbert here? I think the bailiff went to, yeah. What is in session in cause number M328536? case is style of state of Texas versus Stephen Gilbert. Mr. Gilbert, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gilbert, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Gilbert, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, have you got?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gilbert, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Gilbert?
Not good.
Hmm?
Not good.
Not good, not good physically, mentally, or,
Mentally, yeah.
okay. Now you understand why you're here today?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand why I'm being treated the way I'm being treated, but
Okay, he's talking about, why the charges was filed on you?
no,
No, she's,
the length of it,
oh, well, I mean, you're talking about the plea bargain that, the state has offered?
yeah,
Okay, well, I can't get involved in that.
it's,
That's between you, the attorney, and the state, and the Northern Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. Okay? Now, Mr. Gilbert, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Don Boudreaux. Attorney Boudreaux, how are you doing?
Just fine, sir.
Mr. Boudreaux, do you waive a record in Mr. Gilbert's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gilbert, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Gilbert, it alleges that you, Stephen Gilbert, on or about October 6th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2A. Mr. Gilbert, do you understand what you've been charged with?
yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Gilbert, how do you plead guilty? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contact.
No, God.
So you pleaded no contest? Now, Mr. Gilbert, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
no.
You want to fight the charges?
I don't
No
know.
contest, listen to me. No contest means that you're not fighting or contesting the charges. Now, do you want to plead no contest? You have three options. You can plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest.
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
All right. Now, Mr. Gilbert, I also have before me a document on my computer that is titled information. And I have a document before me that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment on a tablet. Do you recognize this document? He needs to, can you show it to him?
yeah, I recognize.
Okay. On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yeah, I understand it.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you are giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me on paper a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
No, sir.
You could show that document to your client.
If you just sign.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, is this your signature?
Oh, we signed in, we inverted our signature. Let me scratch that out. So I guess he signed first and I just signed where he signed. Did we even?
No.
our signature? Okay.
Your
okay.
signature's on the right.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Gilbert,
Yes, sir.
is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant? You can show that to him.
Yes, sir. That's my signature.
Okay. Now, Mr. Gilbert, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Boudreau, go over these documents with you?
Yes,
And did you understand everything that he went over?
yes,
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes.
Okay. Mr. Gilbert, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 into evidence?
Yes.
Any objections, Mr. Boudreau?
No, sir.
Mr. Boudreau, you have advised and counseled Mr. Gilbert. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
And Mr. Gilbert, your attorney, Mr. Boudreau, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
No,
You're not?
No.
So you're unsatisfied with his representation?
I'm telling the truth. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I don't know if we need to go any specifics about you being unsatisfied with his representation. Now,
Well,
does that change your plea in this case to from no contest?
no, sir. Let's just do it.
Now, you still want to go forward with your plea of no contest?
Sure.
Okay. Now, Mr. Gilbert, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement
We do,
in this
Judge.
case?
We do, Judge.
Hold on a minute. And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest, the state has offered 20 days in Jefferson County Jail, giving him credit for 6 days, plus court costs. And the defendant has to turn himself in on 6/14 at or before 6 p.m.
It's June 14, 2024,
Correct.
at or before 6 p.m.
Yes.
What's the court cost in this case? $337. Now, Mr. Gilbert, state is offering that you serve 20 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You give credit for the 6 days that you have already served. The court cost in this case is $337. Are you able to pay the $337 court cost?
No, sir.
Okay, may I see his affidavit of indigence? I need a copy of that. Just hold on a minute. Okay, hold on a minute. Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, I have before me a document that is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. I'm going to hand this document to your attorney, who will hand this document to you for you to review. Now, Mr. Gilbert, do you recognize that document? On page 2 of that document, there's a
Oh,
signature.
yeah, we did this the first day I was here.
Okay, and that's your signature on that document on the second page at the top.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now is everything on that document still true and correct regarding your finances?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now,
I
Mr.
lost my job
Okay,
in result of having to do this. I was understanding like so much for little bit of stuff that I had. It's
okay, well, Mr. Gilbert,
terrible.
let me tell you this, the punishment range for this offense is minimum 0 days to a maximum of 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You could be given a fine up to $2,000, or you be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like you toward the minimum, you toward the lower end of the punishment range. Right?
I guess if you punish me for one but two, then that's why I feel like, and I haven't been in a whole lot of trouble.
Okay.
That's all.
Listen, let me do this here. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier. The court does not get involved in plea bargain agreements or any negotiation between you, your attorney, and the state of Texas, which is the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. Okay? The court does not get involved in it. Now, they have offered, well, at this time, the state is offering 20 days to be served in Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for 6. The court cost in this case is $337. However, the court is going to find that you are indigent. And based on the finding of indigency, you will not be required to pay the court costs of $337 pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, do you understand the state's offer?
I understand it, yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, now, the court is going to follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. And you will start your jail time on June 14th, 2024, at or about 6 p.m. That's the remaining time of your jail time. Now, the sheriff department or the Jefferson County Sheriff, they'll let you know how many days you will be required to do on this sentence, okay? Now, at this time, the court is going to follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Are we ready? Oh, you probably need to have a seat because we waived the court costs. Oh, yeah, you waiting for it to print? Okay. You just have a seat in that first chair by the wall, and she'll call you up when the
Thank you.
paperwork is ready. And you're gonna follow directions of her and the bailiff. Okay, when they come back, okay. All right, and Mr. Boudreaux, you're free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Gilbert, once you finish here, and with the court coordinator, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. Jefferson County Code 1102 is back in session. The court is in session. And calls number 23 CCCR 0820, case of Styles, State of Texas versus Paige Diane Dickerson. Ms. Dickerson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Ms. Dickerson?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Dickerson, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Dickerson, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dickerson, you may put your hand down. Ms. Dickerson, you're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Todd LeBlanc. Attorney LeBlanc, do you waive a record in Ms. Dickerson's case?
Yes, sure.
Ms. Dickerson, I have before me a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information sheet, it alleges that you, Paige Diane Dickerson, on or about February 1st of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense, driving while intoxicated with alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. State, are you abandoning the enhancement paragraph?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Dickerson, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph, and so instead of being charged with a Class A misdemeanor offense for driving while intoxicated, you will be charged with a lesser included offense of DWI, a Class B misdemeanor DWI, which is a lower offense. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, to this Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentrate, with driving while intoxicated, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dickerson, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
You need to check the Class A box and erase the one that you have checked.
Even if he's putting you to Class B.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. It was reduced. Okay. Ms. Dickerson, now the box that's checked is a driving while intoxicated DWI first, and the range of punishment is confinement in jail for a term for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days, a fine not to exceed $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class B DWI?
Yes, sir.
Okay, on page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials, PD, that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? The next document that I have is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dickerson, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes, sir.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Stay up for stage 1.
Any objections?
Wait, no objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. LeBlanc, you've advised in counsel, Ms. Dickerson, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None of them were.
And Ms. Dickerson, your attorney, Mr. LeBlanc, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dickerson, I will accept your plea of your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial, I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
For plead guilty, the state has offered 180 days probated over 15 months with a $500 fine, 50 hours community service, and DWI series conditions of probation.
Okay, Ms. Dickerson. Okay. Yeah, what's the court appointments fee is two. What's the court cost? $392. Okay, Ms. Dickerson, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you're required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 15 months. During the 15-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus a DPS fine of $100. You'll be required to pay court costs of $392. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, a urinalysis fee of $15 a month, a reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to reimburse Jefferson County Court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, in this case, is $170 a month. Will you be able to pay the $170 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the place. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. You'll also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You'll be required to have an alcohol assessment and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of DWI probation. Ms. Dickerson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dickerson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Dickerson, you stand in front of the court coordinator, follow her directions and follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes, there's been some mental health issues, and I told her to discuss that with probation.
Jefferson County Court, Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in 2 cases. First case is cause number M332011. Second case is cause number M332013. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus David Dwayne Grogan. Mr. Grogan, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grogan, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Grogan, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah, I'm God.
Okay, Mr. Grogan, you may put your hand down. Mr. Grogan, how are you doing?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Grogan, you're represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney David Grove. Attorney Grove, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge. Thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Grove, do you waive a record in Mr. Grogan's cases?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grogan, in cause number M332011, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Grogan, it alleges that you, David Dwayne Grogan, on or about November 3rd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of accident involving vehicle. Mr. Grogan, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Not content?
Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Really?
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Grove, you got the wrong box checked. You have Class A check, it's Class B misdemeanor.
Sorry, Judge.
Well, that's all right. Now, Mr. Grogan, you charged with okay, Mr. Grogan, the offense is a Class B misdemeanor. And basically what that means is the range of punishment is minimum 0 days to a maximum 180 days, or you could be given a fine from $0 to $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class B misdemeanor? On page 2 of this same document, there's a set of initials on the line next to a box that says check no contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me a document that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Grover, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Grove, go over these documents with you?
Yes.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
Is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes.
to the best of your knowledge? Let me sign it. Mr. Grogan, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
State. I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 in evidence?
Yes.
Any
Objection,
objections?
Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Grove, you've advised and counseled Mr. Grogan. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Mr. Grogan, your attorney, Mr. Grove, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Absolutely.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Grogan, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial, I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Judge.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest, the state has offered 30 days in Jefferson County Jail, giving him credit for 1 day, plus court costs. This is going to also run concurrent with M 332013. He is to turn himself in on or before June 11th, 2024, by 6:00 p.m.
What's the court cost? In 322.
Judge,
Hold on a minute. What is it?
33201.
Yes, 332011. Now, Mr. Grogan, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for the one that you have already served. Your jail time, the remaining jail time, will begin on June 11th, 2024, at or before 6 p.m. The court cost in this case is $322. Are you able to pay the $322 court cost? May I have a copy of his affidavit of indigence? Oh.
Hold on.
Mr. Grogan, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. That it was just 2 pages?
They're gonna have to into the transfer.
Okay, they didn't get him to sign nothing. Okay. Mr. Grogan, could you show, well, Mr. Grogan, could you show Mr. Grogan that document? Mr. Grogan, you recognize that document? On page 2, I think they have some information pertaining to Mr. Grogan, his name and address at the bottom. What's the- you recognize that document?
Yes,
Now, is everything on that document still true and correct today?
except the address?
Your finances.
Yes,
Okay, now, Mr. Grogan, the court is gonna find that you are indigent. And based on the finding of the indigency, the court cost in this case will be waived, which means you will not have to pay it. And then it will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Jefferson County, well, of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Grogan, do you understand the state's offer?
yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes,
Now, Mr. Grogan, this case will also run concurrent with the companion case, cause number M332013. And Mr. Grogan, in cause number M332013, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, and this information, it alleges that you, David Dwayne Grogan, on or about November 3rd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Grogan, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes.
You're not finished with that one?
I'm typing, right.
You didn't send it to me. And to this charge, Mr. Grogan, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contact.
Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Freely.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Not to fight.
Okay, Mr. Grogan, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Mr. Grogan, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
And on page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Brogan, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Correct.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 as the evidence?
Yes.
Any objections, Mr. Grove?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Grove, you advised in counsel, Mr. Grogan, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Grogan, your attorney, Mr. Grove, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Grogan, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Judge.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest, the state is offered 30 days in Jefferson County Jail, giving credit for 1 day. And this is going to run concurrent with M332011. He is to turn himself in on July 11, 2024 by 6 p.m.
Okay, Mr. Grogan, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for the 1 day that you have already served. The court cost in this case is $392. However, you will not be required to pay the $392 court cost because the court has previously found that you are indigent in the previous case, and because you are indigent, the court cost of $392 in this case will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Your jail time is to begin on June 11th, 2024 at or about 6 p.m. This case will run concurrent with cause number M332011. Mr. Grogan, do you understand the state's offers?
Yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes.
Mr. Grogan, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Grogan, this will conclude your case. Mr. Grogan, you're gonna stand in front of the court coordinator, follow her directions, and you're gonna follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following their directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Appreciate consideration.
Thank you. And Mr. Grove, you're free to go as well,
Thank you,
and
Judge.
you have a blessed day. We still haven't heard anything from Mr. Burbank.
They're calling, she's checking, she said he was, next week was over and like, working that time.
Okay. Well,
Was that your case?
let me do this here. Mr. David Fitzgerald Frank,
Yes, sir.
okay, Mr. Fitzgerald, David Fitzgerald Frank.
Yes, sir.
Your attorney may be in drug court. And so we're gonna go into recess until 1:30 this afternoon. So you need to zoom back in at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have a blessed day.
You too.